Hello. Welcome to the Formula 1 Encyclopedia channel. If you like Formula 1, consider subscribing to the channel to receive more information and news. The 1959 Formula 1 season was marked as the 10th edition promoted by the FIA. Australian driver Jack Brabham, from the Cooper Climax team, was crowned champion of the season. This was the second year in which the Constructors' Championship was held, with Cooper Climax being the big winner with 53 points, followed by Ferrari with 38 points. Now let's see how the races of this season went. Race 1. The race in Argentina at the Juan Y. Oscar Galvez racetrack, held on January 19, 1958, was one of the most memorable events in the history of motorsports. With the presence of great names in the sport, such as Stirling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio, the race had an exciting dispute from start to finish. Stirling Moss, who was part of the Cooper Climax team, managed to stand out in the race and, after 80 laps, crossed the finish line in first place. His performance was impressive, and he showed all his talent and skill as a driver. The Cooper Climax team, which was already recognized for its quality and excellence in the world of motorsports, obtained another great victory in its history. The race had a total duration of 2 hours, 19 minutes, 33 seconds, and 700 milliseconds. This is a very significant time for a car race, considering the conditions of the course and the intensity of the dispute. Throughout all this time, the drivers had to maintain absolute concentration, dealing with the adversities of the terrain and the difficulties of the track. Juan Manuel Fangio, one of the greatest drivers of all time, also participated in the race. He did not win, but showed all his class and skill, making the fastest lap of the race, with a time of 30 seconds. Fangio was a true master of the wheel, and his presence in any race was always a spectacle apart. The pole position, which is the most advantageous starting position, was conquered by the Maserati team, led by Juan Manuel Fangio. This achievement was a great feat for the team, since the pole position is a very coveted and disputed position by drivers and teams. Race 2. The Monaco race, which took place at the Circuit de Monaco on May 18, 1958, was an epic event in the world of motorsport. The race was won by Maurice Trintignant of the Cooper Climax team, who delivered a magnificent performance worthy of a true champion. He completed the 100 laps of the race in a total time of 2 hours, 52 minutes, 27.900 seconds. The competition was intense and exciting, with several drivers showcasing their skills and talents behind the wheel. The Cooper Climax team, which had already achieved several victories in other races, proved unbeatable once again, with Trintignant leading the team to victory. The fastest lap of the race was achieved by Mike Hawthorne, with a time of 36 seconds. He demonstrated all his talent and technique as a driver, making it clear why he was considered one of the best of his time. The pole position, which is the most advantageous starting position, was won by the Tony Brooks-led Vanwall team. This achievement was a great feat for the team, as starting from pole position is always a significant advantage for the drivers. Race 3. The Netherlands race at the Circuit Park Zandvoort, held on May 26, 1958, was a true test of skill and determination for the drivers. The victory was achieved by Stirling Moss of the Vanwall team, who delivered a spectacular performance, showcasing all his talent and experience behind the wheel. He completed the 75 laps of the race in a total time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, 49.200 seconds. The competition was intense and fierce, with each driver giving their best to achieve victory. The Vanwall team, which had a history of victories in other races, proved unbeatable once again, with Moss leading the team to victory. The fastest lap of the race was achieved by Stirling Moss, with a time yet to be declared. This feat made it clear that he was in excellent form that day, and it would be challenging for other competitors to beat him. The pole position, which is the most advantageous starting position, was won by the Stuart Lewis Evans-led Vanwall team. This achievement was a great victory for the team, as starting from pole position is always a significant advantage for the drivers. Race 4. The Speedway race on May 30, 1958, was one of the most exciting and challenging races in the history of motorsport. The victory went to Jimmy Bryan of the Epperle-Offenhauser team, who delivered an exceptional performance throughout the race. He completed the 200 laps of the circuit in a total time of 3 hours, 44 minutes, 13.800 seconds. The race was an epic battle between the best drivers of the time, each showcasing their skills and courage in every turn and straight of the circuit. The Epperle-Offenhauser team, which had a good track record of victories in other races, proved unbeatable once again, with Bryan leading the team to victory. The fastest lap of the race was achieved by Tony Bettenhausen, with an impressive time of 55 seconds. This record demonstrated the speed and skill of the driver, who delivered an incredible race from start to finish. The pole position, which is the most advantageous starting position, was won by the Dick Rathman-led Watson-Offenhauser team. This achievement was a great victory for the team, as starting from pole position is always a significant advantage for the drivers. Race 5. The Belgian Grand Prix, held on June 15, 1958 at the famous Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, was thrilling from start to finish. Driver Tony Brooks, from the Van Wall team, emerged as the winner after completing 24 laps in an impressive time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, 6 seconds, and 300 milliseconds. During the race, driver Mike Hawthorne from the Ferrari team set the fastest lap time with a time of 24 seconds. Hawthorne also secured the pole position with the fastest qualifying time in his Ferrari. Tony Brooks' victory was the result of technical and strategic driving on a circuit that demanded a lot from both drivers and their cars. The Van Wall team stood out for their car's good performance and the skill of their driver, who maintained the lead until the end of the race. Race 6. The French Grand Prix, which took place on July 6, 1958 at the iconic Circuit de Reims-Gouges, was marked by high speed and excitement. Driver Mike Hawthorne from the Ferrari team emerged as the winner after completing 50 laps in an incredible time of 2 hours, 03 minutes, 21 seconds, and 300 milliseconds. During the race, Hawthorne also set the fastest lap time on the circuit, with a time of 45 seconds. The British driver dominated the race from the beginning and showed all his skill and knowledge of the car, leading the Ferrari team to victory. Hawthorne also secured the pole position with an impressive qualifying time in his Ferrari. The team demonstrated their superiority from the beginning of the race, with a fast and reliable car, as well as an excellent technical team. Race 7. The British Grand Prix at Silverstone Circuit, held on July 19, 1958, was won by Peter Collins, driver of the Ferrari team, who completed 75 laps in a total time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, 4 seconds, and 200 milliseconds. The fastest lap was set by Mike Hawthorne, also from the Ferrari team, with a time of 50 seconds. The pole position, on the other hand, was secured by Stirling Moss from the Van Wall team, with a Van Wall qualifying time. Race 8. The German Grand Prix at Nürburgring on August 3, 1958, was an exciting event for racing fans and a milestone in the history of motorsports. The victory was achieved by Tony Brooks from the Van Wall team, who completed 15 laps in an impressive time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 15 seconds, with an average speed of 197.126 km per hour. The race began with Mike Hawthorne from the Ferrari team taking the pole position with a time of 9 minutes and 47 seconds. However, Stirling Moss, who was in 4th place on the grid, surprised everyone by setting the fastest lap of the race in just 3 seconds, showing his talent in the twisty corners of Nürburgring. After an intense start to the race, with many overtakes and exciting duels between drivers, Tony Brooks managed to stand out from the pack, maintaining the lead until the end of the race. The total race time was 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 15 seconds, with a 32-second gap between the first and second place, Sterling Moss from the Vanwall team. Race 9. The Portuguese Grand Prix, held at Circuit de Boa Vista on August 24, 1958, was masterfully won by Sterling Moss from the Vanwall team. Over 50 laps, the driver demonstrated all his skill and determination, completing the circuit in a total time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, 27 seconds, and 800 milliseconds. Equally impressive was the fastest lap of the race, achieved by Mike Hawthorne, who completed the lap in just 36 seconds, showing that the competition was not for amateurs. And of course, the pole position couldn't have been in better hands, having been won by none other than Sterling Moss from the Vanwall team. Race 10. The Italian Grand Prix, held at Autodromo Nazionale Monza on September 7, 1958, was won by Tony Brooks from the Vanwall team, who completed 70 laps in 2 hours, 3 minutes, 47 seconds, and 800 milliseconds. The race was marked by Phil Hill from the Ferrari team setting the fastest lap time of 26 seconds. The pole position was won by Sterling Moss from Vanwall, with the fastest time in qualifying. Brooks' victory was a true display of skill and determination. The British driver managed to overcome his opponents and cross the finish line with a comfortable lead over the second-place driver. He maintained the lead for much of the race and didn't give his competitors a chance. Phil Hill's fastest lap also deserves recognition. With a time of 26 seconds, he demonstrated all his technique and speed, leaving the other competitors behind. This impressive lap was one of the highlights of the race and showed the quality of the drivers who competed. Finally, Sterling Moss's pole position was a reflection of his skill and experience on the track. With a very fast time in qualifying, the Vanwall driver was able to start in the first position and remain in the fight for victory throughout the race. His performance was further proof that he was one of the best drivers of the time. Race 11. The Morocco race held at Indianapolis Circuit on October 19, 1958, was an exciting and full of twists event. The great winner of the competition was the British driver Sterling Moss, who was driving for the Vanwall team. Moss completed 53 laps on the circuit and crossed the finish line with a total time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, 15 seconds, and 100 milliseconds. During the race, Sterling Moss also set the fastest lap of the competition, with an impressive time of 21 seconds. The pole position, in turn, was taken by driver Mike Hawthorne of the Ferrari team, who recorded an outstanding time in the qualifying session. The 1958 Morocco race was one of the most exciting of the season, with a fierce competition between the top drivers of the time. Sterling Moss's skill and dexterity at the wheel were crucial to his victory, and the Vanwall team celebrated the success achieved with great enthusiasm. Thus, the 1959 season ended, with English driver Tony Brooks of Ferrari becoming the runner-up with 27 points in the championship, and Australian Jack Brabham of the Cooper Climax team becoming the champion of the season by scoring 31 points and winning his first world title. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like to support our work, and please leave a comment on what you thought of this content so we can continue to improve our channel. Thank you and see you next time.